I recently did something no police chief should ever have to do. I let two men in fake uniforms cuff me on my own porch while the HOA president stood there grinning like a cat with a canary. Their excuse? A supposed violation of community bylaws. Truth is, the only thing tested that day was my patience, not their authority. But let me back up. I'm standing in the middle of my new living room, surrounded by the scent of fresh paint, like a clean slate in the air. Boxes are stacked everywhere, little cardboard mountains waiting to be climbed. One reads kitchen. Another says old files burn. That one makes me smile, my late wife's humor at work. She used to tease me about my job. Most of those files are commendations and case notes from 20 years in law enforcement, 15 with SWAT, the last 5 as chief. This house is supposed to be my reward. My sanctuary. The street is shaded by big oaks, houses kept neat, lawns kept green. A neighborhood where the mornings are filled with birdsong, not sirens. I bought it for the silence. My grandpa always said a man's home is his castle, but the best castles, he claimed, had quiet neighbors. That's all I wanted. Quiet neighbors. I open a box marked books and find a framed photo of Grandpa right on top. He's in his old army uniform, stern expression, but eyes twinkling with mischief. He taught me how to shoot, fish, and most importantly, how to spot a liar. He believed in order, real order. Not the nitpicky kind, but the kind that lets decent people live peacefully. He'd like this neighborhood. He'd probably tell me to check the fence line first thing, but here there are no fences. It feels open, trusting. That's a refreshing change. For 3 weeks, life is perfect. I unpack. I turn the garage into a workshop. I meet neighbors. Duke from across the street waves every morning, his laugh as big as he is, leaf blower practically glued to his hands. A young family even brings over cookies. It feels like community. Work feels a million miles away. For the first time in years, I start breathing easy. I even sleep through the night. Then the first notice shows up. Tucked under the wiper of my personal pickup, bright red paper, bold angry font screaming violation. According to the letter, my lawn is 1/4 inch too high. Section 4, Paragraph B of the Oak Street Community Covenants. Fine, $50. Signed, Karen Van Fleet, President, Oak Street Homeowners Association. I look at my lawn. Looks fine. I glance at my neighbor's lawn. Same. That old feeling tightens in my gut, the one I get when I see a bully flexing on someone smaller. Not anger. Not yet. Just that heavy sense of duty. I've seen it too often, people with a sliver of imaginary power letting it swell their heads. They invent rules, not for order, but for ego. I fold the notice into my pocket and decide to ignore it. A mistake, I know it even as I do it. But it's my day off. For one day, I just want to be a man in his new home, not a cop who smells a rat. The next day, there are 2 red slips. Same lawn violation, plus a new one. My trash can was visible from the street 3 hours past pickup time. Another $75 fine. Now I supposedly owe $125. This Van Fleet is efficient, I'll give her that. But these notices feel less like rules and more like probes. She's testing the fence, seeing if there's a dog in the yard willing to bite. The wording sharpens, immediate compliance, further action. Classic intimidation. Meant to scare folks who mistake an official-looking letter for real law. I see my grandpa's face in my mind. He would have called this a pocket tyrant, a small person making a lot of noise to feel big. And he'd say you don't let weeds take root in your garden, you rip them out clean and fast. Looking out my window, I spot her, a woman walking a yappy little dog. She stops in front of my house, clipboard in hand, scribbling notes. Sharp features, severe haircut you could use as a straight edge. Our eyes meet. No smile. Just a look of smug entitlement, like a queen surveying her kingdom. Suddenly, my quiet street feels less like home and more like occupied territory. The test is over. Now it's about response. And a man like me only knows one way to deal with a bully hiding behind fake authority. You don't just prove her wrong, you dismantle her entire kingdom with the real thing. She's about to learn what happens when you pick a fight with the chief of police. Her game is over. Mine is just beginning. The next morning, I don't head to the police department. Instead, I drive to the county clerk's office. Old marble building, smells of dust and bureaucracy. I like it. It's a place of facts. Facts don't bend to bluster. They are the bones of the law. At the public records counter, a woman with glasses on a chain looks up, clearly weary of everyone's drama. "Can I help you?" she asks flatly. "Yes. I'd like the incorporation papers and filed covenants for a homeowners association. Oak Street Homeowners Association." She types slowly, squints at the screen, tries again. Then sighs. No record of an HOA by that name. Not in this county. I nod. Expected it, but knowing and proving are two different things. Check for variations. Oak Street Community, Oak Street Neighbors, anything. She tries again. More sighs. Nothing. No HOA registered for that subdivision, ever. Zoned single family back in the 70s. No covenants filed. Are you sure you've got the name right? I hand her one of the red notices. She studies it, lifts it to the light, then smirks humorlessly. "Ah, one of these. This happen often?" I ask. "More than you'd think," she replies. Someone crowns themselves queen of the block, prints letterhead, makes neighbors pay up. Most folks just go along, they don't want trouble. Don't want to make waves. And that's the fuel of every bully, the fear of making waves. "I need a certified letter," I tell her. "Document stating no HOA exists for Oak Street." Her smile grows. Official letterhead, notarized seal. $25. I'll take 2 copies. While she prepares them, I think about Karen Van Fleet. The audacity of it, to invent an organization and use it for extortion. Fraud. Conspiracy. An assault on the rule of law itself. A shadow government running one street by whim and intimidation. Order stops serving people the moment it disconnects from truth. My grandpa fought in a war against men who thought they could write their own rules for everyone else. He knew what happens when lies grow into power. This little HOA scam? He'd call it a sickness. And he'd tell me to cut it out by the roots. The clerk returns with 2 crisp, sealed documents. She even checked the state business registry. No HOA, no corporation, not even under a variation of the name. The county seal at the bottom of the letter is raised and firm. It feels heavy in my hand. Not just a document, a weapon. A quiet, precise weapon made of paper and truth. I could end this today. Walk to Karen's house, hand her the letter, tell her it's over. I could show it to the neighbors. Her little empire would collapse on the spot. But that wouldn't be enough. Not with someone like her. She wouldn't stop, she'd just rebrand, move, or find fresh prey. You don't chase a wolf away from the sheep. You put it in a cage. This letter proves she has no authority. But it doesn't prove her crimes. To do that, I need her to keep playing. I need her to escalate, to get reckless enough that when the trap shuts, there's no escape. This isn't about a $50 fine anymore. It's about every neighbor she's bullied, every family driven off this street. I don't have their names yet, but I know they're out there. Bullies always leave a trail. Driving home, I call my best lieutenant, Danny Reyes. She's my rock at the department. Sharp, calm, with a legal mind stronger than most lawyers. "Danny, it's Mark. Everything okay, Chief? You're supposed to be on vacation." "Mostly. Listen, I need a quiet background check. Off the books. A woman named Karen Van Fleet lives on my street. What'd she do? Critique your lawn care? Her humor's as dry as mine. Something like that. Just the basics. Priors, financials, associates. Desktop only. No official files yet." "You got it," she says. Then, with a smile in her voice, "One of your projects again." My projects are well known at the precinct. Little cases that start small, the ones nobody else notices, until they unravel into something big and ugly. Let's just say, I reply. I found a weed in my new garden. Might need a bigger shovel. I hang up. The certified letter rests on the seat beside me. The truth is there, but sometimes truth isn't enough. Sometimes you have to let the lie grow so large that when it collapses, it crushes everyone involved. Karen Van Fleet wants a game of rules and consequences. What she doesn't know is, I've been playing that game my whole life. And I never lose. That evening, my home stops being just a house. It becomes a tactical observation post. From the garage, I pull out a box, not tools, not keepsakes. Equipment. Compact, hidden, all perfectly legal. I rig exterior cameras tied to my private server, motion sensors, facial recognition, license plate capture. Next, personal gear. A shirt button that isn't a button at all, it's a high-fidelity microphone. I sew it onto a casual shirt, test it across the house, whispering in low tones. Playback comes back crystal clear. I hear the hum of the fridge, the tick of the wall clock. Perfect. The final piece, a ring. Plain black, looks like a fitness band. It has one purpose. Press twice on the side, and it sends an encrypted high-priority alert straight to Danny. It pings both her phones, activates live audio from the MIC and video from all cameras. My panic button. In 20 years, I've never needed one. I have a feeling I might soon. I lay the gear out across the kitchen table. Cameras, MIC, alert ring. Strange sight for a place meant for peace. But this is the part of me that never sleeps. The planner, the tactician, the side that prepares for the fight you know is coming. I call Boone next. My sturdiest patrol officer. Ex-military, quiet, steady, reliable behind a wheel. Boone, it's Ryland. Chief, everything all right? I need you on standby. Off the books. If Reyes calls, grab an unmarked unit and move fast. Yes, sir. No hesitation. That's Boone. 2 more calls, this time to neighbors, the Cookie family and Duke across the street. I keep it simple. This is Mark Ryland, down the street. Having a little disagreement with our HOA president. If you see any commotion, could you film it from your window? Just for my records. Duke chuckles. That woman's a piece of work. She tried to find me for a garden gnome. Don't worry, Chief, I've got your back. The young family hesitates but agrees. They are nervous. They're exactly the kind of people Karen preys on. And just like that, I have a network. Eyes inside, eyes outside. High tech, low tech. Every piece on the board. And as the system locks into place, I feel it, that familiar calm settling in. The calm before the storm. The calm before the storm, it's the same sensation I used to get sitting in the back of a SWAT van, rolling silent toward a barricaded door. You prep, you check gear, you brief the team. Then you wait. Because the other side always makes the first move. I sit in my living room, watching the sun dip low. Another red notice is stuck to my door. This one claims failure to comply. The fine has jumped to $500. It threatens a lien on my property, legal action pending. Nonsense. A forged document can't hold weight in court, but it carries the power of fear. I crumple it and toss it in the trash. I'm done playing defense. The trap is set. Now I just need them to step into it. Tomorrow, they'll come. With threats. With fake authority. Trying to make an example of me. And I'll let them. I'll smile. I'll comply. And I'll record every second. Karen thinks this is about a lawn. She has no idea it's about to turn into a felony case, and she's about to star in it. The morning dawns grey and damp. The calm is broken. I button on the MIC shirt. I slip the panic ring onto my finger. I make coffee and wait. Not long. At 10 o'clock sharp, a dark SUV rolls up to the curb. Oversized, tinted windows, trying too hard to look official. No markings. 2 men step out, dressed in uniforms that might fool a casual eye, navy shirts, shiny shields, shoulder patches. But the details are wrong. The crest is off, the badge numbers don't match, the belts are rentals. I've spent 20 years training beside real cops. Cops move with efficiency, economy. These guys? Pretenders. The passenger door opens. Out steps Karen Van Fleet. Blazer on, clipboard clutched like a scepter. She points to my house, issuing commands. Her face is carved with grim satisfaction. I let the theater play out. The two officers climb my driveway. Karen lingers behind them, poised to enjoy the show. Duke's curtains twitch across the street. The young mom next door peeks from her blinds, phone in hand. My network is alive. The bigger man pounds on my door, not a knock, a hammering meant to intimidate. I breathe deep, smooth my shirt, and answer with a neutral look. Concerned citizen. Can I help you? Mark Ryland. The bigger one puffs his chest. That's me. We have a warrant for your arrest. He flashes a sheet of paper. I take it. Another masterpiece of forgery, fake seal, fake signature, a judge's name I know retired 5 years ago. The charge, criminal defiance of community bylaws. Pure legal gibberish dressed up to sound terrifying. This seems extreme for a lawn fine, I say, calm. Karen steps forward, smile sharp and cruel. You were warned, Mr. Ryland. We don't tolerate lawbreakers on Oak Street. You brought this on yourself. Now, comply, or we'll do this the hard way. I look at her. At the two men. They're so confident. So certain I'm just another scared homeowner. But this is the moment, the beating heart of their scheme, impersonating peace officers, extorting under fake authority. Serious felonies. Hard-time felonies. I raise my hands slowly in surrender. No trouble. I'll comply. Relief flashes across their faces. They expected yelling, a fight. They don't know what to do with compliance. The bigger one fumbles out a pair of shiny, cheap cuffs. No technique, no training. He jerks my arms back hard, steel biting into my wrists. I don't flinch. I just turn to Karen and give her a smile. Small, knowing. The kind that says, you've just lost everything, and you don't even know it yet. The smile infuriates her. Her jaw tightens. Wipe that grin off your face, she spits. You're in serious trouble. The goons march me down the walkway. The perp walk. Classic intimidation. Neighbors see. Neighbors whisper. They want me shamed, broken, an example. What they don't realize, I want the same thing. Every second is recorded. Every angle captured. Duke stands on his porch, coffee mug in one hand, leaf blower in the other, phone held high, filming everything. The young family films from their window. Multi-angle coverage of a felony in progress. Perfect. Evidence uploads in real time. Hashes, timestamps, custody logs. Ironclad. Duke's blower roars suddenly, loud and obnoxious. He grins. Noise violation, 90 decibels. Karen snaps. Duke cups an ear. What? Sorry, I only enforce compliant gnomes. The smaller thug flinches, half turning, hand too close to his holster. I tilt my head. Careful with that prop, hero. He bristles. Karen hisses, eyes forward. The neighborhood is awake now. Dogs barking, blinds snapping, cameras recording. The pressure is visible on their faces. The big one tightens the cuffs for show. I let him. Then I smile at Karen again, wider. For the first time, I see her rattled. As they drag me toward the SUV, I flex my thumb against the ring. 1 tap. 2 taps. The signal flies. Miles away, Lieutenant Danny Reyes's phone lights up, alarms blaring. The live feed's open. She sees what I see. Hears what I hear. The trap is sprung. You're making a big mistake, I say, voice pitched clear for the MIC. Impersonating a police officer is a felony in this state. The smaller one snorts. Shut up and get in the car, old man. Only mistake here is yours. They shove me into the back seat. The door slams. Karen lingers outside, arms folded, basking in triumph. She thinks she's won. She thinks she's broken me. She doesn't realize she just handed me everything. The SUV pulls away. The air inside reeks of stale coffee and cheap freshener. The two fake cops chuckle, high on their power trip. Karen didn't come along. Her part was the public spectacle. Theirs is the follow-through. Probably drive me around, issue more threats, dump me somewhere, counting on fear and shame to keep me silent. But they don't know me. They don't know who they've cuffed. And they don't know this game is already over. It's the oldest bully tactic: isolate, intimidate, abandon. Works on most people. I'm not most people. The smaller guy in the passenger seat twists around to smirk at me, his weaselly face stretched into a grin. Not so tough now, Mr. Ryland? Should have just paid the fine. Would have been easier. I stare back, silent. Silence is a weapon, more unnerving than threats. Guys like him need reactions. They feed on fear, on anger. I give them nothing. I'm stone. He scoffs and turns forward. The driver mutters into his phone. Yeah, we got him. No problem. He folded like a cheap suit. Heading to the spot now. His reporting in, likely to Karen. Confirmation, this isn't random. It's organized. A conspiracy. Another felony to add to their stack. That perp walk earlier gave me my chance, but I had to wait for the right second. As they shoved me toward the SUV, I stumbled deliberately, shoulder hitting the rear bumper. To them, it looked like clumsy balance. To me, it was execution. Between cuffed fingers, I palmed a coin-sized tracker I'd hidden in my pocket. In 1 second of contact, I pressed it to the undercarriage. The magnet locked tight to the frame. They abducted me, but I tagged them. By now, Danny has logged exigency, filed an e-warrant, and lit the tracker live. Units are shadowing this SUV. My dot moves across the map. They know exactly where I am, where I'm headed, and how fast. The driver gets cocky, weaving through traffic. I watch landmarks slide past my city windows. I'm not worried. I trust my people. I can almost hear Danny's calm voice over the radio, coordinating. Boone's unmarked interceptor closing in. Other ghost cars falling into position, patient hunters waiting for the kill zone. This job is chess. Anticipate. Counter 3 moves ahead. Karen's crew? They're playing checkers. They just walked their king into open fire. The two up front talk about splitting their $500 payday, beer or video games. Small men with small dreams. But their crime is anything but small. And they're blind to the net closing around them. I lean back, breathe steady. The same calm drill I've done before every breach. Control the heart. Control the mind. Let the plan unfold. The SUV veers into an industrial park, grey warehouses, empty lots. The perfect staging ground. Low traffic. Clear sight lines. Multiple access points. Ideal for containment. The passenger turns back again. When we let you go, you forget this ever happened. You go home, pay your fines, and you don't call the cops. Got it? We know where you live. That's it. The last piece. Extortion, abduction, impersonation, threat, all tied together. Evidence airtight. I understand, I say flatly. And I do. They've just sealed their fate. They think they're in control. They think they hold the cards. Outside this SUV, the board has already shifted. The driver slows, hunting for some deserted side road. He doesn't notice the battered construction van that eases in front of us, forcing him to brake. He curses. He doesn't see the black sedan slip tight behind, boxing us. Doesn't notice the dark pickup sliding left. Boone's truck. Through the floor, I feel the faint buzz in my shoe receiver, an old SWAT trick. A single pulse. Danny's signal. Takedown initiated. I brace. The construction van slams its brakes. Our driver panics, stomps his pedal. Screeching rubber, seat belt biting my chest. Behind us, the sedan closes hard, locking us in. Boone swerves tight on the left. 2 seconds. We're boxed. Stationary. Perfect rolling cage. What the hell is this? The driver barks, knuckles white. The passenger pales, eyes darting. I don't know, man. I don't know. They still don't get it. Their minds cling to traffic accidents, road rage, too small to imagine what's really happening. They can't process that the balance of power has flipped so suddenly, so absolutely. Doors of the surrounding vehicles swing open and men and women in full tactical gear step out. These aren't bargain bin costumes, they're my people, the city's best. Real weapons in trained hands, moving with the lethal precision of professionals. The air erupts, not with sirens but with a barrage of shouted commands. Police. Hands where I can see them. Do it now. Dozens of voices overlap, hitting from every direction. It's overwhelming by design, enough to stun the brain, short-circuit resistance. The two in the front seat freeze like deer caught before an oncoming train. Their swagger dissolves in seconds, replaced by raw panic. Hands on the dash. Now. Boone's voice cuts through, sharp and focused. His at the driver's window, weapon aimed steady at the man's temple, face unreadable, all business. The driver lifts his trembling hands to the dashboard. The passenger follows, his fingers shaking. The back doors are yanked open. Two officers cover the rear. One, a fresh-faced academy kid, meets my eyes. His grip is steady. Chief, you okay, sir? I'm fine, son, I tell him. Get these off me. He snaps open the cheap cuffs. They clatter to the floor as blood surges back into my wrists. I rub the sore spots, then step out into the orchestrated chaos of a felony stop. Two uniformed cops escort me toward a marked cruiser for evil and ID, standard scene control. That's the photo the neighbors later pass around, me grinning between real officers. This is no longer their show. This is mine. I circle the SUV's hood where my suspects are now pressed flat against the metal, being searched, cuffed properly, Miranda rights read. The passengers blubbering, it was just a joke, man, just to scare him. The driver stays silent, smart enough to know excuses are useless now. I watch, letting protocol unfold exactly as it should. No shortcuts. No errors. My rules. My book. Boone comes over, reporting. 2 weapons. Chief. Passenger had an airsoft in a shoulder holster. Driver had a 9mm under the seat. Serials filed. My stomach tightens. This has jumped from impersonation and kidnapping into serious federal territory. Good work, Boone. Tear the vehicle apart. Every inch. Danny Reyes arrives, phone to her ear, sharp nod in my direction. It says, we got them. What's next? They threatened me. Admitted they were paid, I tell her. Charges, impersonation, extortion, kidnapping, false imprisonment, plus the firearms violation. More than enough. Get me a warrant for Karen Van Fleet, her house, car, computers, storage, finances. Everything. Danny's already typing. On it, Chief. Judge is awake. The pawns are in custody. Now the Queen comes into play. The industrial park transforms into a lockdown crime scene. Yellow tape cordons off the SUV as forensics swarm it in ghostly white suits, dusting every surface, bagging every trace. I stand with Boone, watching. You want the first crack at them? He asks. Not yet. Let them sweat. The car speaks first. It does. Glovebox, a stack of red violation slips identical to the ones shoved in my mailbox, blank fields ready for names and fines. Beneath, a binder full of crude neighborhood maps, houses circled in red. Mine included. A target list. Back seat, a lockbox pried open with ease. Inside, fake police badges by the dozen, just convincing enough to fool the average homeowner. Alongside them, wads of rubber-banded cash. Boone counts quick. Over $5,000, Chief. Each bundle labeled with an address. Extortion money. Proof of an organized racket. Not a hobby. A criminal enterprise. The kind that screams racketeering, federal territory, heavy sentences, asset forfeiture. Then the jackpot, a burner phone wedged in the driver's side pocket. Password locked. Danny gets a warrant fast. Tech starts pulling data. Full extraction, I tell the lab tech. Texts, calls, GPS. I want to know who gave orders before and after my grab. He nods, hustling back to the mobile van. This phone will be the wire tying them straight to Karen Van Fleet, turning testimony into ironclad proof. While forensics hum, I walk to the driver's squad car. Open the back door. He looks up, fear wide in his eyes, the tough act gone. Just a kid caught in a storm. The 9mm with the filed-off serial, I say, voice calm, deliberate. That's 5 federal years. Plus state time. That's before we even get into the kidnapping and impersonation charges. You're staring at 20, maybe 30 years. You'll go in young and come out old and grey. Silent tears begin sliding down his cheeks. I lean closer. Your buddy in the other car? He's going to talk. He'll tell us it was all your idea. He'll cut a deal, testify against you, and be out in 5 while you rot. The first one to flip always gets the best deal. That's how this works. Divide and conquer. Classic interrogation. And true. I shut the door and head for the second car. I deliver the exact same speech to the passenger inside. The goal, plant just enough doubt, spark a race to see which one betrays the other first. It rarely takes long. My job is done, the rest is on them. When I return to the SUV, Boone is holding up an evidence bag. Inside, a set of keys. Found these clipped to the sun visor. One's a house key. Another's stamped Stoico self-storage, Unit 218. He cross-checks their records. The unit belongs to Karen Van Fleet's LLC. The other keys match padlocks used at the facility. I take the bag, the weight of it heavy with implication. A storage unit. Perfect place for stashing incriminating evidence. Amateurs always think it's safe. Danny walks over, phone in hand. Warrants are live. We've got her house, her car, and every storage unit tied to her or her companies. Efficient as always. She's the best. Good, I say. Boone, take these keys. Start at the big storage complex near her neighborhood. Go quiet. I want to see what's inside before she knows we have her guys. He nods, already moving. Then the tech analyst rushes up with a laptop. Chief, you need to see this. On the burner phone, the last call was to a contact saved as K-Boss. A quick cross-reference ties the number directly to Karen Van Fleet. 20 minutes before the arrest, she texted, "Is it done? Is the trash taken out?" My blood runs cold. That's no eviction order. That's something darker. Malice. Pure and simple. Now the case isn't just solid, it's airtight. We've got the car, cash, badges, weapons, the digital trail, the threat on tape, and multiple witnesses. Everything but the final vault. And thanks to a cheap stamped key, we may have just found it. The storage facility sprawls in rows of orange and blue metal doors, a graveyard of forgotten lives. For Karen, it's where she hides her criminal empire. Boone's team has already isolated Unit 218. The key slides in perfectly. They wait for me before opening. Let's see what she's hiding, I say. Boone cuts the flimsy facility lock to preserve the chain of custody. The heavy door rattles upward, stale air rushing out. Ink and paper. Inside isn't junk or furniture. It's an office. A desk, a chair, several tall filing cabinets. Across the unit, stacks of envelopes, boxes of red paper, and a high-end commercial printer. Her factory. Her forgery hub. We start with the cabinets, unlocked, arrogant. She thought no one would ever find this place. The first drawer is labeled Oak Street. Inside, a file for every house on my block. My own file is at the front, complete with my name, move-in date, violation copies, and even my tax records. She had done her homework. She targeted newcomers, the ones easiest to intimidate. Behind my file are dozens more, past residents, each folder clipped with check copies. Fines cashed, intimidation monetized. Some victims paid $50, some hundreds. One family over $2,000 in a year for violations like mailbox paint and holiday lights. Proof of her cruelty, methodically kept. The next drawers are worse. Labeled Willow Creek, Pine Ridge Estates, Maple Lane. Fake HOAs across the city, all run by her, funneling money into her accounts. A one-woman crime wave. Then, the jackpot. Her corporate ledgers. One drawer full of shell company documents, LLCs with bland names used to launder the money. Another packed with originals, forged letterheads from the county clerk, fake lien forms, even court orders bearing a judge's copied signature. It's not just fraud, it's organized conspiracy. Danny arrives. I show her. She lifts a Willow Creek file, fury flickering in her usually composed face. She went after the elderly. Look here, threatened an 80-year-old woman with foreclosure over rose bushes. The poor woman sold her house, moved into a retirement home. Karen labeled her a soft target. She profiled her victims. My blood burns. This isn't just crime, it's predation. The kind I built a career to stop. We have more than enough, I say flatly. While we're still combing through, the financial team confirms, Karen has 3 bank accounts. 2 barely funded. The third, a corporate account for one of her LLCs, holds over $250,000. Every deposit matches the fake fines. Now the picture is complete. Victims. Money. Tools. The empire. She's got a board meeting tonight, Danny says, scrolling through burner phone texts. Held in her garage. Her, the 2 muscleheads we've got, plus a handful of neighbors, likely coerced or bribed. A queen on her throne, surrounded by her court. Perfect. Get the team ready, I tell Danny. We're not just knocking on her door. We're raiding the meeting. I want her arrested in front of her whole fake board. Let them all see what happens when you mock the law. The storage unit door slams shut behind us. No longer just a hiding place, it's a tomb of evidence. Her empire is about to collapse. She tried to take my home. Now I'll take her freedom. Unmarked cars fan out along the block. Officers wait in shadows beneath the oaks. Silent, practiced, ready. I crouch with Boone's entry team in Duke's backyard. Duke, inside, blares his TV as cover, just like I asked. From here, we have a perfect view of Karen Van Fleet's garage. The garage door is shut, but light spills from inside. Voices carry through the walls, a board meeting in progress. I aim a directional MIC toward the garage and catch Karen's sharp, furious tone. Unacceptable. This was supposed to be simple. Now he's gone, and so are my employees. This reflects poorly on my organization. Her organization. The arrogance is staggering. She's talking about me, still oblivious that her employees are in a holding cell, each racing to be the first to turn on her. She thinks she's untouchable. In my ear, Danny whispers from the command post in her car. All units in place, Chief. House surrounded. No exits uncovered. Ready on your go. I glance at my team, 4 solid officers, Boone among them. Plain clothes, vests beneath, weapons ready. I murmur into my radio. Okay. Quiet approach. Side door on my signal. We move across lawns like shadows, slipping through darkness between houses. No one sees us. At Karen's side door, I test the knob. Unlocked. Arrogance. Again. Her voice still filters out, lecturing 2 nervous board members I recognize as neighborhood lackeys. When I find them, she snaps, they'll learn a serious lesson about loyalty. I don't let her finish. I nod to my team, shove the door wide. Police. Nobody move. We flood the garage. The scene matches my mental picture. Karen at a makeshift podium, her 2 sycophants at a folding table, eyes wide with terror. For one frozen beat, everything halts. Karen's face cycles, confusion, outrage, then recognition. Panic. The Queen's castle has been breached. Her followers surrender instantly, hands up. Karen doesn't. She shrieks, shoves the podium down with a crash, and bolts for the interior door. Boone intercepts. He's faster than he looks, a wall of muscle. She tries to juke past, even shoves him. He doesn't budge. An oak tree. He clamps her arm. She twists, kicks, screams. Get your hands off me. I'm the HOA president. I have rights. I walk up, calm. You have the right to remain silent. I snap out my real handcuffs. Boone holds one arm, I take the other. She's trapped. Karen Van Fleet, you're under arrest for extortion, conspiracy, racketeering, impersonation, and forgery of a government seal. The first cuff closes with a final, echoing click. Her eyes blaze with hatred. You can't do this. I'll sue you. I'll take your badge. The second cuff locks home. Tell it to the judge. Other officers detain the board members. I raise my voice so all can hear. This is what happens when you make your own rules. This is what happens when you mock the law. It's over. We lead Karen outside into flashing red and blue. Neighbors spill onto porches, watching the Queen in chains, watching her reign crumble. Fear on this street shatters in that instant. She glares venomously from the patrol car. You haven't won, she hisses. I don't answer. The lights, the officers, the locking door, they say everything. She lost. She just hasn't accepted it yet. She will. Alone, in a small room, with no one left to bully. A month later, coffee on my porch, sun warming the railing, kids laughing, Duke waving from his mower, the block feels light again. No threats, no whispers, just peace. The case moved fast. Evidence stacked too high to fight. Storage unit, bank records, burner phones, video. Her hired muscle pled out. The driver caught on firearms and kidnapping charges. But the hammer landed on Karen Van Fleet. In court, the judge called her scheme a campaign of intimidation against her own neighbors. Sentence: 15 years federal custody, 3 years supervised release, no contact with victims, lifetime ban from any HOA or board. Assets forfeited, printers, plates, cash, SUV, shell accounts. Restitution checks already going out. Liens voided. Names cleared. Even those who'd moved away got refunds with interest. The state set up a hotline. More victims called. Within a week, 2 copycat boards in nearby towns were exposed. Same red paper. Same scam. Not anymore. Inside my home, the last box is gone. Grandpa's photo rests on the mantel. He believed in order, but never blind obedience. Rules serve people, he used to say. Not the other way. I look at this street now, open doors, front yard chats, a real neighborhood again. On my desk at the station sits a training replica of her fake badge. The real ones are used in class now: how to spot counterfeits, preserve video, build airtight cases. A reminder: a badge isn't a costume. It's trust. Work. Proof. She tried to rule with fear. We answered with facts, witnesses, and the law. Slow, steady, final. The quiet I bought this house for is back, not the silence that hides rot, but the peace you earn. This is my home. These are my people. The fence line is clear again. And if anyone tries the same game here, they won't find a fake board waiting.